Welcome everybody for the Seidat webinar. This is, I think, so. This is a number 8 webinar for last year and 4 months when we did the merge with Visualizer, and Seidat started to focusing on the hospitality sector only and putting all of our skills and resources towards the hotels and serve hotels the best as we could. Today's topic will be the digital distribution channel as a kind of a new channel, how to influence to your customer as a digital as a word is something which is very familiar and pretty much outdated already. But what we are going to mean today about digital distribution channel is something that Esa will enlighten us. And this is the way how you could separate yourself and your hotel from the competitors. And this is also one very good tactic to grow your current venues sales and the rev bar in this current market situation. So welcome to the Seidat and Noux webinar. Today's guest is Esa-Matti Karine from Noux Digital showroom, and a few words about me. We haven't updated, by the way, our materials because I started as a new CEO for Seidat of the beginning of April. So now I'm currently running and leading the whole company, but still working very closely with customers and taking part of our customer journeys, our customer success, and our new customer acquisition. But that's it about me. Maybe one addition would be that I have been working over 24 years in the SaaS and the technology sector, and latest 4 years together with hospitality, ICP, and the hotels. But hello, Esa-Matti, nice to have you.
Hello, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Could you tell us a couple of words about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm CEO and co-founder of a Finnish company called Noux Digital, and we help our customers to streamline complex sales processes with digital sales room, and it's really interesting to talk about around hotel and venue sales processes and how we could streamline those.
Did you have any background with hospitality, or this is kind of a new frontier for you?
As a customer mainly, but of course I have some cases I have been with, but mostly as a customer only.
It's nice to have here a fresh eyes to think about that, how hospitality is currently transforming towards the digital era and the AI era especially.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I have been studying that topic quite a lot lately, and one thing I understand is that selling these services is actually really complex, and there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of people, and it's kind of it's not easy one comparing many other sales processes.
Could you tell us a couple of words about your company?
Yeah, we are startup growing quite nicely at the moment. We are 4.5 years old startup with 8 employees and located here in Helsinki, Finland, and now getting more customers abroad as well. And we offer all customers solution that you can, instead of sending emails and attachments, you can open collaboration room where you can invite buying group members, and you can make sure that everyone from buying group is engaging with your content and interacting with you.
Is it a newly established company, or have you been a couple of years in the market?
A bit more than 4 years so far.
You have, I think so that I remember that you had something like 6 employees currently, or even 10, somewhere between.
Now we have 8.5 kind of, yeah, soon okay. 9. Yeah,
and most likely growing this year, hiring new super professionals on board.
Indeed, we just got two new employees lately.
So the market itself as a digital showrooms are expanding.
Indeed, and it's quite fresh market. Most of our customers, they haven't had any solutions before us, so it's quite fresh market, and digital sales room is quite new concept for most of our customers, and almost all end customers hasn't seen sales process done with sales room.
I believe so. I'm 42 years old and quite old in some senses. And I started doing sales when I was 19. So, and there has not been so much changes in the kind of typical sales processes in any industry, in the hospital industry, or any professional, or any kind of an ICP or different industries. It has been the same, but this is something totally new.
That's true, and it has been quite similar last 40 years. That after meetings we are sending emails and attachments. That has been the main way
Exactly.
to
And running PowerPoints, PDFs, and
that's and there is a lot of possibilities what happens between meetings, and we have digital sales room, but we believe when people are meeting each other face to face, that's best way to build trust. And if you have online meeting, that's the second best way to build trust. But the thing is that you are not able to, as a seller, you are not getting enough time from buyers, and what happens between those meetings is your feeling of the value, is it decreasing or increasing? Quite often it's decreasing, and meetings are only moments when you can really make value higher.
Yeah, the amount of noise in market has been increasing a lot. Also, kind of building the trust and having the engagements towards the people and the customers is even more difficult nowadays. But hey, let's recap our current agenda, and let's run our today's topics. So, what are the challenges in multi-stakeholder MySales will be our starting point, and how to different in stakeholders evaluate decisions. Introducing the digital sales rooms itself, Esa-Pekka will be showing that part for us, Esa-Matti, and real examples of how organize materials and improve the communications itself. So the number one will be the discussion, and also to have a kind of main topic here is the challenges in multi-stakeholder MySales. So what it really means, what it actually means, multi-stakeholder.
Yeah, it's quite often there's a lot of decision makers and people who need to have information, or they are needed in decision process, and in MySales there is quite many as far as I understand.
Yeah, that's something we discussed a couple of days before, that in meetings, incentives, conferences, and events, and hospitality itself has many various different sales processes. They have a different process for the luxury sales and the direct bookings. They have a different process for the MySales, different process for the corporate sales, and also different process mostly for the agents and the distributors. But that's also behind of all of these processes, the decision making is never going to be made by one person. So you and we as a salesperson, we need to have multiple ways to affect and influence these stakeholders. And usually it's so easy to do it by only affecting the one and just forget the rest. Yep. But this is the topic today, that how we really could engage and influence the multi-stakeholder decision makers behind of the schemes, and what kind of challenges we have find out there. So let's see. Multiple decision makers with different priorities slow down the sales process. That is pretty much nutshell. It's kind of a statement. Information gets scattered across emails, files, teams, which are causing a confusion. Keeping all the stakeholders aligned and up to date is very time consuming. And creating a tailored, high quality proposals for complex decision making processes makes a significant effort. So what is kind of your thoughts, your opinions related to these?
Yeah, as a sellers we trust quite a lot how the primary contact, how they handle sharing the information. And that's one of the biggest mistakes when you have a multi-stakeholder sales case. So that's quite often we just trust that person we are able to meet and communicate with. They are sharing the information, but they have a lot of priorities, and it's quite and it's really hard to give someone who doesn't really know you, your service, your solution, how they promote your solution. It's not easy, even they have good content and materials, and how to make that easier. It's a key.
One of the kind of, and very close to myself, is to keep the message aligned. So when I'm talking with the current stakeholder or my contact person about Seidat solution, let's have an example that I'm selling a Seidat for the hotel. So I'm probably discussing with the general manager, but there are also involved the cluster sales and most likely also the management company decision makers like VP of sales or even the CEO, and the message might be changing. When the message is going to the people, to the next people. Also, they have different priorities. So how to keep everything aligned is something that we usually, as a salesperson, forget. We only concentrate to the only one person that we will see, and we are not giving enough time to consider it, how to affect these people behind it, to those multi-stakeholders.
Indeed, and another thing is how to get attention from people who are really busy and they have a lot of priorities and things to do, and how to get your message through, how to get people to stop and concentrate to your message. And that's hard game, and it's not easy.
So how do different stakeholders evaluate these decisions? So these what we just discussed are kind of the common challenges and quite straightforward. All of us as sales professionals, we have faced those, maybe not used enough time to evaluate those and really consider how they would affect my sales and my sales results. But this is kind of how the stakeholders have a differences when they evaluate the purchasing, or they send an RFP to the hotel, and the RFP is sent by the professional buyer, or as an example, as a business corporate customer like we are, I would probably put our secretary to ask to do a benchmarking for 4 different hotels for our next kickoff, and I try to tell the secretary that what are the needs, and there are still some personal matters that I haven't told the secretary, that I really like more steak than fish. But she doesn't know that. But you as a salesperson, if you would know that the CEO loves more steak, maybe I should make a different kind of an serving for them, which also includes meat and the vegetables.
And from my experience, I have a feeling that in B2B sales we overlook that emotional appeal and how things feel and look like, because we are same persons when we are after the work than in work time, even though we have nice title that we are professional buyers or something like that. But people, the emotion is really people, they don't use as much time as you think learning your services and feeling, even though they say that, hey, this is clever decision, but same time why they made that decision might be the look and feel and the kind of how nicely it has. And in my sales, of course, it's about emotions and visual things and stuff like that. So maybe you're not overlooking that thing as much as many other businesses.
It's always the balance with the data and the return of the invest and the need that this venue and this hotel best suit for us. But there is, like you said, there is still the emotional part, and also my maybe decision maker personal needs. Very interesting topic. So is how so does a digital souls room somehow answer for this?
In many ways. Of course, one thing is that it's great place to have videos and pictures, those things that it's easier to consume. Of course, it's place for different kind of documents as well. But as you know, you have excellent presentations, and those are not boring ones. And we see from data that those rooms where you have good video in the room, there is much more. People are spending more time with boring content as well. The other attachments are read much more often if they start with video, because people are quite often they think that, hey, I quickly see what's this, and then if they have feel, hey, this is actually interesting, I want to learn more. That's how it goes quite often, and our data shows that if you have room without any visual content, there is less time people are consuming your reading your agreements or proposals or brochures and so on.
Yeah, I totally get it and understand that the visuals will be a factor for increasing your probability to do the sale or even shorten the sales cycle. But how the digital sales room exact could help with the different emotional or personal needs. So is there a way to send a different kind of materials to me and a little bit different kind of materials to the other decision makers?
Yeah, indeed, you can customize who sees what. If you know person's interest, you can highlight content what's more interesting for them. But as you will see soon, it's really easy to find information you need, or you don't even have to find it. You just ask and you get the information you need.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's something that we could never done with the traditional tools. That's why I usually, as a professional, as a sales professional, as at over 25 years experience that I have, I would most likely tailor a different message for the CEO and the CRO, because they have a different priorities. But in digital sales room, everything is combined, but they have just a different view. And then I could also add this, if I know that they have a different emotional ways or things which will affect the decision making, then I could separate those.
Yeah.
That's pretty much wow.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know before people come to see your content what they are keen on. So it's not that easy. If you know your customers really well and you see that, hey, that person might be keen on at this, you can have different introduction email and different content in the room. But sometimes you just need to build things that people will find the information what they are keen on easily and quickly.
I will challenge you a little bit, because now we are talking about in the context of hospitality. And in hospitality business, we know that the CEO loves golf.
Okay.
And we know that the CRO wants to have a more relaxing as a spa services. So then we could send a digital showroom which has a little bit more content and more arguments that, hey, we are the best place because we have the best golf fields. And then we could have in the same digital showroom, we could have a separate content for the CRO, so we have the best spa in this location.
Yeah, but that comes from the point that how to get that attention, like sending something, for example, proposal in this case, sales room. The first thing is how to get person click once and see everything, because they are busy. Let's think that they have 15 emails and they have 20 minutes time to finalize this day. How you get the attention, and that's great if you know that person loves golf. Then you can have introduction email that, hey, this and that, and you can say why you should check this out. And that's even how you summarize in few lines that, hey, you should use time with our content because you like golf, and here you will see the best possibilities to have golf round when you will have the event. But yeah,
Yeah, somewhat. In hospitality business, the business is mostly built top of RFPs. So
Yeah,
if the sales inquiries which are coming in is like 80% is our RFPs and 20% is an outsource outbounding. So
yeah,
the 20% is most likely that kind of customers that you need to build the awareness and get the interest to have at least
yeah,
first click. But the RFPs usually contains already this data that hey, we are looking for a
yeah.
package or something else that amenities that we which you are interested, and that's why we sent an RFP to your hotel. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to explain to you that they have a more in hospitality. We usually have at least this kind of background data when we are sending the first version of the proposal or starting the discussion with the customer. So we already know a little bit more.
Oh, of course, and if you know that, you should highlight how you answer those even before people are going to see that. Yeah, I see.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's something that we really could impact with digital showroom, because if the RFP comes in that they have already asked of golf packages, but maybe if you are a proactive salesman, you will also call to the customer or the colleagues and also try to find some other value points that they are looking for. And then when you are building the case, you could also involve the other stakeholders to the same digital sales room and build tailored content based on their emotional appeal or their needs.
yeah, that really makes sense.
Yeah. The next one is why the sales middle game is critical. And now we are again discussing the exact topic, why hospitality, why hotels, why hotel operating companies should also look on the digital sales rooms and modern sales tools. And in middle games, there is we can also see a middle game as a way when the customer are benchmarking. So the customer has most likely sent a CV proposal for 10 different hotels and asked one of their local provider that hey, we are interested to have a 1,000 person annual event in your hotel. But the middle games is also the discussion what happens after you send the proposal for the customer and the customer starts iterating the content. So they want to change the breakfast amount or room amount, or they want to add some new services, amenities, etc. So there is a lot of back and forth discussion, and that's something that has been done traditionally through email ping pong or calling, etc. But now with the digital sales room, we have also answer for this part of the sales process.
Indeed, and as we know, it's quite. You said thin line. Are you active or aggressive? And sometimes we, as a seller, we are maybe lazy, and we say that hey, we give customer time to look things around, and we don't want to be too aggressive. But actually, if you are active with good behavior and you really help your customer, you can double time how much they use with your content and brand and interaction. So that, and it can make big difference. Are they using that limited time with your brand content or with your competitors one? So that's the game you need to win. And of course, but that's.
Let's go back to the multi-decision makers. So if I have sent a proposal for 3 different persons, so 3 different stakeholders is now involved in the sales process, and the middle game will start. So most likely, me as a professional salesperson, I already recognize that most likely we are not the only one. Most likely they have asked offers from other venues and other hotels also. So what I could do to keep the interest on in my proposal, what I could do?
First thing, best sellers, they are really good of understanding who are in buying group. Like rookie sellers, they just serve the primary contact as we talked before. But if you know decision makers, if you ask permission to contact them as well and say, is it okay if I share this content to you, that colleague and that colleague? You can even help your primary contact to build the buying group around around. And we see in data, like we have a lot of sales teams with, let's have an example, with 10 sellers. Those sellers who can engage more people during the sales process, they are closing more deals. That's really strong correlation. And playing middle game with just 1 or 2 persons instead of 5 persons, it's one thing. That's first thing. And then how you play middle game is because most of our sellers, we are busy, and we want to play well that middle game, but we don't have time. We have meetings. We have a lot of things to do. So hardest thing is to remember play the middle game. So having good tools and good plan is second thing. And if you have process that you do always those steps and you plan those really well and you know what, when and what to do, and you automate part of the middle game, that's one way to make sure that there's more good activities during the process.
Interesting. So you could automate some parts of the middle games to keep the customer interest on.
And that helps to one thing is that your best seller is doing that already, and he or she is brilliant playing middle game.
Because he or she is so active. She's not aggressive, but she's active.
They are active and they think they don't might need any automation, but we can make your worst seller to do at least some middle game activities with automated processes which are on time with good content. So I will show a few ways to do that. So it's just trusting busy people to do something like that. It's not enough.
Maybe this is a good time to jump on the exact product itself and have a small demo. Let's also keep in mind that let's try to answer these questions when we are doing a demo. So how do different stakeholders evaluate the decision, and how the digital sales room will answer that? How the digital sales room works when we are talking about middle games, and also remember that there are 2 different ways to understand the middle game. The one is that the customer is also benchmarking the others, but for one, it's also the discussion, that the iteration process between the customer and seller, that when they want to change something. So, Esa, please be my guest.
Yep, I can share my screen, and I will briefly, just a second. I will briefly show you how to modify sales room, how you invite those stakeholders to your room, and how you activate those and answering those
multiple stakeholders, and how you could also emphasize or help the primary contact person to leverage the digital sales room to the other stakeholders.
Indeed. If I share my screen, just a second. I guess you are able to see. Let's refresh the page again, and I take this away from here. And I think now you are able to see my screen. So companies who are using our solution, they are not building sales room from the scratch, but they open new one with template, and they can easily add any kind of content to the sales room, any kind of files, links, and for example, Seidat presentations. They can add any kind of content to the room, and they can make the room order and folders as they want to. Here in this.
So that could be kind of, and if you are sending a kind of a cluster offer or a group offer for a hosted buyer, that they are looking for 4 different or 5 different holders from Spain area. So you could add here like 5 different holders and all the presentation and materials, and also the combined.
Indeed, and doing that from template, it doesn't take too much time. You can first add content, and you can record videos, and you can highlight some key stuff here in the room. For example, you can have excellent presentation made by Seidat in room in different places. And you can record videos. You can go through the proposal, or you can capture your face, and you can tell how you understand customer need and tell about your solution. So there is different ways to get attention in the first place, and then you have all stuff customer needs in nice structure here in sales room, and you can at different, like the main documents can be highlighted, but then there's some people who want to have some extra content. You will have everything in the sales room, and as said before, you can decide who will see what, and then you can have a mutual action plan where you tell your customer what step we have to take to have excellent event, for example. And I go back to that soon. But when you have your room ready, you can invite your customers to join the room, and they will get normal email from your domain with one button with your brand color, and with one click they can access to the room. And if I show that customer view, it might be more.
So that is the way to expand the decision maker or the multiple stakeholders and expand the other decision makers to also the same space.
Indeed. So when you invite people to join here, I saw from the bottom, every time they visit your room, you will get notification, and that can go straight to the CRM system. And first thing is that when you have this information, then you know where you have to use that time to be more active. For example, in this case, I'm seller here, and this Sophia Loren hasn't come to the room, so I can send. There is automatic reminder system, but I can send reminder via different channel. For example, from via LinkedIn. I can make sure that everyone from buying group are joining the room, and when they do, they can ask questions, and they don't have to wait you to answer, but they will get instant answer by AI, because all content in room will be indexed to the AI, so people don't even have to find right document. But
so to clarify, this conversation part.
Yep.
Is the solution how you will run the middle games when you're iterating the content based on the different needs or kind of the changing needs. So if I have some changes to the proposal, or I know that we originally had 200 people, but now we have 164 people, so we don't need so many rooms, and we want to also change this and this. So I could really to start this conversation here through with you and start iterating the proposal after that.
Indeed, and everyone from the buying group can see what kind of conversation we have had. Of course, you can offer your customer different channels to contact you, but if you have good phone call with Tobias, for example, and there is good points, you can write those here and ping other people to join and see what we were talking. And one great thing with middle game is that this mutual action plan is that you can give task and this will send automatically reminders. If your customer have to do something, for example, go through the proposal with team, you give the date and you tell who will check that. So they will get automatic notifications. This is kind of one example of those minimum middle game things that people are getting notification from your process that, hey, now it's time to do this and some task is overdue or something like that. So it helps.
So this also helps to kind of to lead your own work, but also helps to customer to follow the same bad path with you. But for customer, I'm not sure that do I want to show a customer this. I would like to show this to my own internal people that, hey, we have now done the need assessment, we have done the proposal refinement. Okay, they had the site inspection in my hotel last week, and now I'm in the phase of contract negotiation and finalization, or kind of then in the middle games where we are gonna still iterating the initial proposal, or they are also benchmarking with other providers. But is this something that it's also shown for the customer?
Yeah, you can decide, but it's more common that you give clear view for your customers what's the process doing business with us. Of course, you can. This is an example. You can write those things what you want to show customers, but for customer who comes to the process in the middle, they can see it. Okay, they already had a meeting. You can check the meeting memo there. Or if we go through what's the day process, post-event follow-ups, okay, they have this kind of process for that. So it's really nice from buyer side to see what is the process to doing business with them. And it gives you like good feeling that they really know what to do, and this is clear way how to proceed. And that's why that mutual action plan method is more used in complex sales, because it's not only for your team as a seller, but it helps customers to understand as well what has happened and what will happen and where it will end up, like great event or something like that.
Usually after if the customer agrees and selects our venue, and if it consists kind of an event package or event planning, then it should then the next phase would be kind of the planning the event and organizing the event itself. There are multiple different solutions like event planner tools, etc., that what our customers are using, but how you see that this could also work, that because after the contract, the exact event planning will start, and also the organizing the event and holding the event should be there.
And those tools are excellent for doing that. So yeah, you can, of course, if you want to, you can bring links here where you can turn that in different system as well, because our solution is used mainly from the first like email or meeting until the deal is closed. But some of our customers might handle the event itself from this platform.
And some has also there's a one size does not fit all.
Yeah, it depends. It varies a lot, but making sure that you have everyone from buying group they are engaged is the kind of one of the key things. And just sending proposal and hoping best that might work. But if you know how active people are and you have easy ways to notify people and make sure that they will get the new content and they can really follow your content and process, that really makes difference. And nice thing is, as you saw, that customers, they don't have to even hear that you are using digital sales room. They will get email from your domain, normal email, and with one click they will find the content they need, or they can just check videos and pictures and have a nice feeling and kind of get to know what would be the experience. Yeah, that's kind of in the nutshell, but as you can understand, the content and how you collaborate with buying group it varies a lot. And thing is that your buying group members, they can reshare the room to colleagues as well. So, and that's one thing. If you don't get all the names who I can say I can share the room, you can ask people to reshare the room to colleagues as well. And you will get, sorry.
At the time of AI, I also understood that you have implemented some AI features.
Yeah, we have several AI features. Maybe I saw data later. So one thing is if customer has questions, they will get instant answer. But of course, seller can add on if needed. And one thing is that we have meeting note taker, that in every Teams or Google meetings, you will get automated summaries, and you can share those meeting summaries to your customers buying group as well here. So that's that. And there is a lot of like AI sales codes, and AI gives you a lot of analysis out of the meetings. So you will get a lot of data out of the meetings and what happens between and how active are different buying group members, what presentation they are looking for, and how long they have stayed, and there is like a really, you know really well what's happening and when and of course if here is Seidat presentation, you have excellent data how those are checked.
Yeah, also if you include Seidat there, you will get also tracking that what they have done in the exact presentation, which images, which room, which kind of content and proposal, part of the proposals the customer has been looking for. So combining Noux and Seidat, that would be kind of the ultimate sales room for hotels.
Indeed, but at the same time, what you have seen here, it doesn't take a long time. You just if you are able to attach documents and links to your email, you can set up sales room. So it's not difficult one, and with your presentations, it's really easy to modify those and make those great presentation.
Yeah. How about the onboarding? So me as a, you know that the old dog doesn't learn new tricks very easily. And when you have done it like sales in the last 20 years in a kind of a very traditional way, or a way that what you have used to it, but what I need to change in kind of in my thinking and also my behavior, my actions, if I want to modernize a little bit my approach towards the customers.
And one thing what we have learned that people are not keen on spending more time to be more like better seller. They want to have really easy and nice processes. And what we have done, we have done things really easy that you can even save time using our solution. And when our customers on board with us, so we build all the visuals and room templates before we have 1.5 hours setup, and same day you can use digital sales room. You don't need to have weeks to practice it. Same day you can use it. Of course, how you use personalized videos, that's one thing. If you haven't used to use personalized videos, like filming yourself, that might take time, and it's quite hard to learn when you are not used to it. We are saying that if you have used 3 times digital sales room, you don't want to come back to time when you're using email, sending stuff and messages, and you really enjoy the control and those automatic reminders and stuff like that.
Do you, by the way, have any figures that what has been the difference between the traditional sales model and kind of this modernized digital sales room model? Has it increased the sales, decreased the sales cycle, or even make your conversion better?
Yeah, key thing is that our customers' sales hit rate has to get higher. Then this solution is good one. But same time, we want to have better buying experience from customer side. We want to have shorter sales cycle. When everyone is aligned, sales cycle can be much shorter. Of course, you have processes when you know when it starts and when it ends. Then it's not possible to have shorter one. And then, are you able to save time? And of course, one thing is the data. How you will learn what content your customers are keen on, where they spend most of the time. You can improve ways how you communicate with your customers when you're using tools like this.
In this particular ICP, this particular industry as a hospitality, they usually, like I said in the beginning, it's like 80% is RFPs.
Yep.
Answering for RFPs. So this is a totally different way because they have already an automated proposal solution. So when they also need to have the availability of rooms there. That's something that they need to have. They need to know before sending an offer. And also the products is usually stored in the PMS systems like Moves, Amadeus, etc. And then sorry, Amadeus, a channel manager, but like Moves, and then they have a CRM system which is tailored for the hospitality, maybe sales for things or sales catering, and then the customer data is there, and the Salesforce or the CRM system asks from the PMS systems that is this room available or not. If it's available, then they will also choose the products, because in the hospitality business they have hundreds of products, even that they are
Yeah.
selling accommodation or rooms. They have so much different products to add on with that room or that meeting space, and
Yeah.
that information is in the CRM, and they create the proposal from there, and it's usually pretty much automatically created. And
Yeah.
the professional buyers, the buyers who have very used to it, and they have an experience of buying venues and organizing events, they like to compare very similar proposals together. It makes their lives easier when
Yeah.
they ask 5 proposals. All of them are pretty much in the same size, in same kind of an structure. It's easy to check that, okay, this has a little bit better price, this has a little bit better rooms, this has a little bit better amenities. But it also makes very difficult for hotels to differentiate themselves, because everybody has the same.
Yeah. And for sure, there's many of those cases where you don't can use digital sales room. If the company says that, hey, you have to fill these forms or give this information in that shape, you need to follow that. But as we have been talking, there is various cases where this could really help, and you can always choose how to communicate with different customers and find the best way. But if you have a lot of more than one person in buying group, you have several content to share. Why to do that with attachments in email and just trust that being watched? So that's the kind of key.
Would it be possible to kind of create the automatic offer from the proposal system, and when the ticket is enough? So let's think about that the RFP is now like 20K or even 80 or 100K. Then you really want to work a little bit more with this customer and invest more of your time and resources. Then you would take the automated proposal and put it in the digital sales room, because the digital sales room gives you more tools to affect the multiple stakeholders behind of the first person who asked the inquiry.
Yeah, and with API, you could automate that process. And one good thing is that if you realized after 2 days that, hey, actually we are trying to give them 10 rooms, we have only 9 because we had some mistake there. You can check who has seen the proposal. Okay, you see, hey, they haven't seen that yet, I can change it. You have real-time understanding who have seen what, and you can always modify things and notify maybe one person who have seen wrong information. You can say, hey, sorry, last proposal we had one mistake and now it's clear. And that's one good thing with the really complex sales, that you might have moving parts, but when you know who has seen what, it helps you to give the right information and correct information if needed.
Who really gets the value? I have a slide here as a background, that who will get the value, and what is the exact value that the digital sales room would put under the line?
This solution works only when everyone from the process is getting value. First of all, the end customer, who have one-click access to all content, all updated content during the 2 months buying process, and having really clear, nice way to understand solution. That's one person or persons who gets value. Then from seller's perspective, the main value is that you will reach those buying group, even those passive buying group members who are not able to join your visit your venue or join your Teams meeting. That's kind of key things. You can get attention and use that wisely and get more time. Make sure that they use more time with your brand and content. And as a sales director, you will get a lot of information about interactions in meetings and what happens between what people are keen on, and you can actually, you don't only have numbers, how many proposals we have and what's the average deal size and so on. You can see how interaction is working with buying group members, and who is better to get buying group members active, and you will get, for example, data that if there are differences with sellers, who is engaging better than others, and you can learn from best sellers and try to make those habits to other sellers' habits as well.
Where this is just my personal experience based on my over 25 years of sales experience.
Yeah.
is really affecting the whole multi-staker group. That's something that which always forgets.
Yeah, and that's the key thing. When our solution is valuable, when you have multi-person stake, a lot of people in buying group, that's the key.
Usually the salesperson doesn't know that. But, but this is the way how you could dig in more deeper and make it easy to leverage the information that the other people, and emphasize your current contact person to leverage this to these people, which this is also influencing.
Yeah, and when you will see the data, how those cases where you have more people involved, those are closing better than others, then you can start to concentrate more and more solving those buying group members and helping those.
Yeah. How about the buyer? So you have also talk about the buying experience and making the buyer experience more better. So for me, for the buyer, if you think about, let's have this typical case. So if it's a professional hosted buyer, they have used to it to get these 3-page PDFs, which they are comparing to the another holder or the provider. So how this will help the buyer?
First of all, some potential customer of us, they are afraid that or they think that, hey, this is a great solution, but how about our buyers? They are conservative, they don't like new things, and digital sales room actually sounds really bad. It sounds that someone is selling something and there's digital, so it's really bad name. But good news is that this solution is used in really conservative areas, and your end customer doesn't even need to know that you're using digital sales room. You are just sending normal emails, and with one click they will get access, and you don't have to explain that, hey, we are using this kind of solution. You just say that, hey, clicking that button you will find that proposal you really need, but I added some extra, I added that, and there's good video about our golf course because I know that you like golf. That's the thing. And then the customer, wow, okay, they have really cool locations, they have really nice golf course, and yeah, now I need to check the proposal, and maybe I download that. That's one option as well. Or
this is a food for thought, a lot to think about.
Hopefully.
For my I'm not yet, I would not consider myself as a true hospitality professional yet, but I have met hundreds of hoteliers, I have met hundreds of hospitality companies, I have evaluated tens and tens of different hospitality sales processes, and I believe that this is the future. This kind of processes will be part of the hospitality sales process, because you need to influence multiple stakeholders. It's not enough only to influence the one person that you met in the speed dating or a roadshow or a fair, because you had only I had only 10-15 minutes time to discuss the person. Yes, I got the initial need from there, but most likely this person is not the end person who will be doing the decision. So this is the way to expand and get more information who should be part of this buying process and whose needs we should also take care of it, and the middle games. Yeah. So I'm not sure yet that how well this fits in the current hospitality sector, but I see that this is the direction where the modern sales is also going. And many people have said that hospitality is a traditional business, traditional sector. I would say bullshit. Yeah. They are even more further than many other industries when we are talking about digital technologies. when we are talking about direct bookings and marketing, they are very sophisticated, very robust. They pretty much know top-notch products and top-notch
Indeed.
technologies when we are talking about direct bookings.
Yeah.
But the B2B business, the traditional human-to-human business, is lacking a little bit behind. And
Yeah.
these are the solutions which will transform the B2B business to couple steps towards the modern sales process. And that's why I believe that this is something. But always new things is not very easy to implement. It needs a change in thinking and
But
behavior.
in thinking at the same time, you don't have to change everything overnight. Just have a few
That's
people
true.
try it in few cases and see that, hey, what's feedback from customer side, how the sellers, how they feel. It's kind of piloting good technology gives you always good ideas, even though it doesn't last. But it's not, you don't have to change everything. You can try and or you can simulate how it would be if we would have Seidat and Noux. We can build your brand and content, and we can play as a customer and sellers and see how the process goes, and that might make you think what tomorrow's process might be. So it's,
Yeah, and also what I would, as a hotelier, what I would be expecting is that we would close more bigger deals.
yeah, that has to be the goal.
Yeah.
And you have worked with hundreds of hotels, and I have been visiting in few hotels, but I'm already expert of how to sell these services. So yeah.
Yeah, you're expert of digital showrooms, but hospitality has its own traits, and that's something that we have discussed today, because the processes are a little bit different. They have already a huge tech stack. They're already using a lot of automation. They are leaders when we're talking about digital marketing and also the related to the direct bookings, etc. But they are still lacking a little bit behind in the traditional P2P sales, and I really believe that this is the direction. Plus the AI. The AI will be there.
Yeah.
The AI will be enhancing and automating the repeatable daily tasks, which
Indeed.
also makes these salespeople they need to learn new things. They need to learn the new process with this technology. Technology is not replacing the sales; it's supporting the sales.
Yeah. True indeed.
If I want to get contact to the Noux, how I could do it?
You can contact me from, for example, in LinkedIn, or you will find contact details from our webpage, nouxdigital.com, and there you can contact us as well.
Thank you, Esa-Matti. We are also recording this webinar, and all the participants will be also having this webinar recording through email, so you will get it from there. How many guests we had today? Do you have any questions to me or Esa-Matti? Silence is golden.
Indeed.
Then I would say thank you, everybody. Thank you for attending. The next one would say that will be before the summer. Then we will leave the summer vacations and start running our webinars after June. And thank you. Have a great, profitable high season in most of Europe countries.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.